Check 1 2, check 1 2. What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Light Den Academy. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for the exhibition, the first ever exhibition presented by Lens Rentals. All right, so the goal of today's stream is we are going to share, the participants are going to share their experience using and renting the equipment, talking about their photos, all that stuff, and then we will close the vote. We'll close the vote and tally it up and reveal who wins the big Lens Rental gift card. All right, here we go in 3, 2, and 1. Chat, I want you guys to give it up for the Alamo and Mikeytendo. Yay! All right.
Okay, I'm not doing all that dancing.
I was gonna say I'm over here. I can't hear the music anymore, but I'm still bopping. But Mikey doesn't feel it either.
Are you bopping, Mikey?
Nope.
All right, guys. Well, welcome into the stream. Welcome into the exhibition. The very first. Actually, let's just do this real quick. Let's just get introductions out of the way for the sake of the VOD. Starting with the Alamo. Tell us who you are, where you come from, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so my name is Allison. Most of you know me as the Alamo. I live in Indianapolis, and I am a creative portrait photographer, I think is what I'd call my work. But I do digital and film, and I've been doing photography for a very long time. I think since I was like 12 or 13. So it's me.
Chee. All right.
Chee.
Mr. Mikeytendo, you're on the big screen.
You guys know me. I'm Mikey from Tampa. I am a below average photographer, but a above average person. That's it. There's nothing really else to say. You guys know who I am.
Yeah. There you go, chat. There is the Alamo. Wait, no, this one. Alamo, Mikeytendo. So we're gonna talk all kinds of stuff about what you guys thought about the lens, what you guys, how you feel like your images came out. But before we do that, let's go all the way to when we drew the participants for this one. I specifically remember Mikeytendo talking a huge game, and lo and behold, he was the first participant chosen. Mikey, how'd you feel when I pulled your name out of the In and Out Cup?
Dude, I talked all that trash because I didn't think I would get chosen. So when I did get chosen, I was just like, well, the word I'm thinking of, I can't say on your stream, but yeah. I was excited and a little bit afraid because before we even drew, I knew these guys were going to pick the tilt shift. And I think that's the one lens I'm afraid of. I know how powerful it is and what awesome stuff you can do with it, but it is an intimidating lens when you've never used one before. So I was excited and afraid at the same time.
All right, cool. So we're definitely going to talk about how you felt about it and all that stuff. But right after that, we picked another name out of the cup, and that name was The Real Dirty Dan. And I was super stoked because Dan has been busy working. He has a real adult job, unlike some of us, and he works out there in New York. And I was like, sick, dude. We get to see him do some photography and stuff. But unfortunately, he couldn't participate because he had some family commitments on this day, and plus he asked his boss, and it wasn't going to be able to get it off. So. The Alamo, how did you feel, real quick? How did you feel when Dirty Dan got picked? Because you were also speaking into existence a matchup against Mikey.
I think Mikey was actually the one who started the hype for the matchup between Mikey and I. I think he was the first one who called it out. of course, like it's fun to be picked for things. So I was excited that Dan got to do something because I don't think I've seen Dan's name in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
For like events, 24-hour streams or whatnot. So I mean, honestly, it's great I think it's fun for anyone and to just kind of hype up and get everyone all hyped up. So I wasn't like disappointed because I knew there was going to be more.
I think that's all BS. I think Dirty Dan was afraid of me and just walked away once he was chosen. Two, I'm kind of glad that me and Alamo got to go at it because, you know, we're good friends already. So we knew we could do a little bit of trash talk and it wouldn't be taken personally and stuff like that. So I'm glad it was Alamo at the end. I hope Dan can get in it later and, you know, have his shot at whoever else gets drawn. But I'm glad Alamo was a part of it.
Wow. Extending the olive branch. Love it. That's so good. So Alamo, when I went live, I was supposed to be on vacation. I went live on a Saturday even. And what were you thinking? Were you thinking like, this is my time? This is it. I'm being chosen.
Well, I saw the notification and I was like, isn't this man on vacation? Why is he streaming right now? So once I saw what the title of the stream was, because I thought it was a tweet, because your announcements come in for tweets and all kinds of stuff. But then I saw it was a go live and I was like, excuse me. And then you explained that Dan wasn't going to be able to participate. And then I kept thinking back to Mikey's call out where it was like, you and me, let's go. And I was like, listen, let's match up. Let's square up. Let's go. And so, I mean, of course I wanted to be drawn. Yeah. But I did not think I would actually be drawn, especially after he literally called me out by name. Oof. And then he ended up being drawn as the first one. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way that it's actually going to be the two of us. But here we are.
I made that call out, like, knowing that there was like zero chance of it happening.
Manifest destiny.
And then
you just speak it into existence and it'll happen.
This time kind of went by fast, didn't it? Like from the time of when you got chosen to like here we are now. Was it me or did it go by quickly?
It went by pretty quickly. I mean, like that first week was tough. I was already afraid of the lens and I'm like, what am I going to do with this thing once it actually gets here? Yeah. So I started watching YouTube videos of not only the tilt shift lens part of it, but also like, what can I shoot? You know, with COVID, we moved here and I never really got out and explored. So yeah, I don't know where all the good spots are yet. So there was a lot of research that went into this.
So you got picked. You said you right away started watching videos and stuff like that. What was one thing that you were like, I guess, most afraid of using this lens?
Completely missing focus on literally every shot because it was a manual focused lens, and especially here in Tampa, everything is always sunny. So just looking at that screen is just, it lies to you. And I'm like, you know, I'm going to get home and I'm going to be so disappointed when literally no shot is in focus and I completely failed. Yeah. Because at one point I was like, how am I even going to get this guy 5 shots? He wants 5 good shots. I'm still working on getting 2. So like, how is this going to work? But that was the fear, and just not understanding how to use the lens. Mm-hmm. Because you can watch all the videos like all day long, but until you actually touch it, it was hard to grasp all the features of it because it has like 8 knobs on it and it can go in 5 different directions. Yes. It was just a big lens to learn in a weekend.
Alamo, what are you smiling about, Alamo?
He's right. It's I'm smiling because like he's describing like looking at a lens that has like 8 different knobs and it does like 4 different things. And like that was the same thing that I did. Was I think I watched one video on it. Yeah. And it was the least helpful video I've ever watched in my life on YouTube, because it was like, it's a tilt shift lens that tilts and shifts. And I'm like, wow, such incredible information that you've just given me, sir. I would have never guessed that this is a tilt shift lens that tilts and shifts. And so it was like, I don't know what to do. And I like got it, and there were more knobs on it than I thought there were going to be on it. Cause there's like the actual knobs that tilt and shift it, but then there's there's like locking knobs, but then there's also like what looks like locking switches that I don't know if they were actually ever switches.
Yeah. So you think the amount of time that you had with it was not enough?
Any other lens you could have given us, I would have been okay with a weekend. But I think that specific lens really gave us both trouble learning it, since we've never touched it before.
Typically, when you like look up tilt shift, you get the like creative side where people are really kind of going out of the box and using it for like all of the wacky stuff.
Yeah.
But actually getting an understanding of like what it's meant for, and how to use it in the way that it was made, because it's made for architecture. It's made for fixing converging lines, and getting a hold on the right way to do it with the lens is hard. And I did not think it was going to be this hard. I thought it was going to be a lot simpler, but it was tough.
I kind of wish that I got to experience it too with you guys. Yeah, so there's the picture of the lens right there, the 24 millimeter tilt shift. And then of course we can just always go to the website. You guys can look it up.
Does Nikon make a OEM tilt shift? Like, does Nikon have a Nikon brand?
Nikon has a tilt shift. Yeah. Same wide angle.
24-35.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. I've done some research on like if I were to have, you know, people that have different brands, camera brands, I did a little research on like what lenses are the same. And so Nikon definitely has a 24 millimeter 3.5. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the tilt shift lens that was rented here from Lens Rental. Let me just put the link in the chat if you guys think about renting it. Manual focus only. So that was another thing about this lens. Did you have fun with that?
No, it's not fun. I didn't have fun with the focusing. It's not. It just is. It's work. Like you have to be thinking every time you take a shot, is this in focus, and checking, is it in focus?
Yeah.
At least, especially like I don't know if Mikey used a tripod, but for a lot of the stuff that I did, I used a tripod just so that I didn't even have to, but I am not used to using one. I like never use a tripod for anything ever. I'm always handheld. I always just have it because I'm constantly like moving this way, moving like going around and doing stuff. I like to shoot different angles of things.
Yeah.
So it was a pain to lug around a tripod and set the thing up and like get shots of things all the time, and like always like zooming in. I made a custom mode on the R specifically for like making manual focus easier.
Yeah.
Like that was how much of a pain it was.
And sorry, yeah, real quick, what cameras did you guys use to shoot this with?
I actually used a 6D Mark II. I have the R and RP, but I used the 6D Mark II so I didn't have to have a converter on it. I didn't want to add another point of failure in between. You know, I was already way over my head. So I'm like, you know, I'm just going to keep things simple. So I used the Mark II.
And Alamo, just to restate, you use the Canon R.
Yeah, that's my primary body, so that's all I have. So I had to. The R has the RF mount, so I have the EF to RF adapter. So I just adapted it to the mirrorless R.
Did you have any problems with it?
No, I've never had any issues with the adapter personally. It's just an extra piece that's a little annoying.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have to deal with it, I would love to not. But unfortunately, the RP is such a new mount that a lot of lenses don't exist in the R mount yet.
Yeah. Well, if you're walking around like Mikey did, and we're gonna talk about you guys' actual shoot, okay? So, but I can imagine it's just another piece to like add onto your camera. Makes it like I use the FTZ adapter with my camera, you know, and like it doesn't make a huge weight difference, but it kind of does. If you're gonna be walking around and stuff like that, it, I guess it's one thing less to worry about. All right, so let's talk about what your plans were using this lens. Like, what did you imagine that you were gonna shoot Mikey? Did your plans change? Did it evolve, or like did you stick with what you wanted to do?
It definitely evolved over time. Like I did the research by video first, and then I actually printed out a Google Maps of like 5 or 6 different locations. I started with like maybe 20, and then I'm like, okay, I can hit many more places if I narrow it down to like these 6. They're all in a 5-block radius.
Yeah.
And I still didn't reach all of them just because, stuff happened that day. I drove to downtown Tampa, and I live in Tampa, but it's still pretty big, and it's a hike to get into downtown. So I got there and discovered that there was a anime or furry convention or something going on. So there was like wizards and everything else just walking around, making
it's
it
crazy.
Nuts. I wanted a way to maybe, like, I was trying to evolve from right there, and I'm like, oh, maybe I can do something with these guys, but nobody really seemed friendly in that way, and nobody was masked, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to stick to my own plan.
Okay.
So the first thing I did was I went to this parking garage because I knew it had a good view of the whole city, and that's where a few of my photos came from.
Yeah.
Then I walked down, then I spotted this big hotel like 2 blocks away, and I'm like, I want to get to the top of that, because one thing I really wanted to do with this lens was do that little toy car effect that everybody does. And I'm like, I want this so bad. So I got to the hotel, and there was, hundreds and thousands of furries there. So I sneaked my way up to the top of it, and, getting by the pool area, I had to, kind of blend in with another family. And so I took a few photos, and the saddest thing is, like, none of them came out. None of them came out to what I wanted them to be.
Yeah.
So I didn't use any of them. And like that expended most of my energy for that day, just doing all that stuff. So I didn't reach the like last 2 destinations. There was definitely a lot of evolving and, changing of plans, but overall the plan I came up with came to fruition.
All right, Alamo, same question. Like, what was your original plan? All that. I'm gonna show you guys' photos, and you guys gonna walk through the photos with me. But Alamo, I just want to hear, what was it like for you planning this thing out? Did plans change? Yada yada, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So the first thing that I had in mind was there was a shoot that I wanted to do with a model, and so that I was very worried that I had made plans bigger than my britches, because I wanted to rent a studio. I wanted to have decor. I wanted to have like all these props. And I was like, I was out of town the weekend before. So I was in Chicago from the week before, the Friday to Monday. Mm-hmm. So that I was out of commission. So it was like Tuesday hit, and I was like, I need to get this rolling. And once I was drawn for the competition, I actually I started getting the ball rolling for things that I wanted to shoot. And so I had this one idea, but then I was like, okay, I can't submit 5 images from one shoot. Like I can't do that. I'm not doing that. So then it was like, okay, well, what the heck else do I shoot? And so I was like, okay, well, there's some stuff around Indy that I could go to. There's a couple parks, and we had plans on Sunday to go to the arcade. My friend owns an arcade here in Indy. And so I dropped him off at daycare, the little puppy dog. I dropped him off at daycare, and I was like, we got to go. I got to hit some parks. I got to take some pictures, and then we're going to go to the arcade. I'm going to take some pictures at the arcade. And so that was when I was like, all right, so that's the second plan. I had the first thing set up with the studio and the decorator. And then I had the second thing set up with all like going out and about and exploring and doing the parks and the arcade stuff.
Yeah. Regible says drop the Addy, and I think he's asking for the arcade.
So Boss Battle Games, it's in Castleton Square Mall up in Indy. I'm trying not to make this like an ad, but it's a free play arcade. So you pay to come in and then all the machines are set to free play. You don't use quarters and it's a retro arcade.
Oh.
So they've got they've got Initial D, they've got DDR, they've got the OG Mario, Donkey Kong, Crazy Taxi, they've got the Star Wars Pod Racer game. Like it's not like a Dave and Buster's where you win tickets. It's more like a retro style arcade where you go and play games. So
nice. All right, real quick, before we start showing the images, for everyone else, you can type in !the exhibition and you can find the link to our website, and it's gonna take you to our website. You go up here, the exhibition, it'll tell you about like what this is, and basically what this competition is, chat, is a head-to-head photography competition. Lens Rentals has agreed to send out some gift card amounts to each participant. So, well, this way. So they each got credit to rent this lens for a couple days, use it, shoot with it, and then send in their best 5 images. And so you guys have had all week to vote on who you felt used and utilized and basically came out with the best images with this lens. So let's go into view current exhibition, and it takes you to this little blog thingamabob. You just click that picture and there it is. So we've got a little blurb about Mikeytendo on the Alamo. There's Mikey's cute little doggy. There's the Instagrams. So there you go, guys. Here's all the images, and you can look through them on your phone if you want to look at them like, you know, in their full glory. And then you click here to vote, which the voting is still open. I still have yet to vote. But you basically, it's going to ask you which to vote for. So put your name or your Twitch username or your Discord name, and then you choose which participant to vote for. So yeah, that's how that works. So we're going to show actually their work right now on stream. Since the Alamo just got done talking about what her plans were and stuff like that, let's look at the Alamo's images. All right, so here we go. We're gonna take a spin through the Alamo's entries, and here they all are. Gee, so let's go ahead and you've been doing that this whole time, Alamo. Every time I do that, you just do you do that? And Evan's like, what are you doing? Like,
I don't know who Evan is.
Ethan. Even, bro, what is your husband's name?
Not Ethan.
Jeremy.
No.
Jerrickson.
No, you were closer with Evan. It's Everett.
Everett.
Yes.
All right. Is this Everett? Like, dude, what are you saying, Alamo? And just like, I picked it up from this streamer I watch.
It only started barely with the auto-tuned sheet. I don't know whose command. I don't remember whose command it is, and I don't dare to do it in chat because then chat's just going to do it.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So this is my image.
This is
so
her image.
There's two portraits that I submitted from this, and so this was the studio that I rented. It's Ross, I think it's Ross Studio. Oh my, I know who the owner is. It's Reggie. But I rented a studio, and I reached out to a decorator, Sparkling Decor and More here in Indy. And she just, I inquired about paying to rent some props, specifically the candelabras and the greenery that's on the table and what's holding the bouquet in the center. And she didn't charge me for anything. So
what?
She didn't charge me for anything.
That's
so shout out to her for
yes,
letting me use all this stuff. So I went out to Goodwill. I hit Goodwill and I found as many red candles as I possibly could. And I put everything together, and I actually had a difficult time finding a model. And then I reached out to my friend Chloe, who's a photographer. And I was like, hey, Chloe, do you want a model for me for the shoot? And she was like, wait, really? Sure. Yeah, like I'll model for you. So we got together, and this is all natural light. There's a big set of windows to her left, but camera right. That's lighting it from the left. There's no studio lighting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that was kind of the gist of that. The center floral piece is real flowers. The rest of it is faux flowers.
Okay.
But the only other thing that I did was, I think only about half of these candles were lit in the photo, because we didn't want to light like all of these candles and then like burn the place down.
Yeah.
So the only like photoshopping that I did was I just like fake lit the rest of the candles.
Wow.
Because we were like, let's not set things on fire today. So we're just gonna light some of these candles and not all like 30 candles I have on the table.
Midnight is rehashing some past PTSD experiences.
I don't want to talk about my alien bee blowing up.
From now on. Yeah. So which candles were real? This one right here.
None of the ones that are in the back are in. Yeah, the one you're circling, I think, is real. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Actually, hold on. I can open Lightroom and see which ones were the
curious little
actual lit ones. So, and she's got tea. She's got sweet tea in her cup.
Ooh, it's not. It looks like blood. Could totally pass off like blood. She's sitting at a vampire's dining table.
I didn't think about that in advance of like to put something in the goblets when I asked to rent them. And then she like went down. There's a vending machine in the building, luckily, and she went down to the vending machine in the building.
Wow.
And they had like sweet tea or something in there. So she just was like, well, this is kind of close enough, isn't it? And I was like, yep, that'll do.
So as you figure out which are legit or not, obviously we can see the blur from the lens. And so how did you have your camera oriented? What did you do to set the lens and all that stuff? Oh, there you go. There's the raw image right there, chat.
There we go. Yeah. So there's the raw. But yeah, I was using a tripod. So I have the tripod set in the studio, and I was just using the LCD and zooming in on her, and I had it tipped up. So I had the camera a little low, and I was using the shift function to shift it up, and then the tilt function, I think, to the right, if I remember right.
Okay.
But that's how you get the effect of like the thin focus plane in the center, is you shift it left or right.
Okay.
But that's kind of how I got because the candles are kind of leaning. So I kind of did the opposite of what the lens is intended, is I actually made the lines converge a little bit. But yeah, you can see I cropped it quite a bit, but then you can see here, this candle wasn't lit, this candle wasn't lit, this candle wasn't lit, and then this one wasn't lit, and then these weren't in the back.
Sweet. Yeah. That's awesome to be able to see the raw like that. It's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Back to me.
On to the next one, which honestly, this one probably was my favorite from your whole set. The reason being, I just like the setting and everything. The other one was great, but I love this setting. I love the colors. You can see that tilt shift effect a bit, mainly up here in this stuff. But yeah, go ahead and just share with us this.
Yeah, so this is part of my friend's arcades. They have a whole pinball section. I brought the tripod. So I think this one was kind of a long exposure. I didn't want to just be really corny with all my images and do like a really heavy tilt shift on all of them. Because I think that part of the lens's benefit is that typically with a wide, like 24 millimeter, you don't get a lot of separation between like subject and background, even when you're wide open, because there's no compression. Like everything is usually, even when you're wide open aperture wise, it's not super blurred. So using the tilt shift subtly, I think you can get like a nice separation without making it like scream tilt shift.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a ton of pictures at the arcade. And I think this one kind of was my favorite because it had the clear subject, which is the chair. It had the clear focus, at least, which is the chair. And I just, the colors were nice and I liked the overall like kind of vibe. So yeah, I did this one vertically and I did a little bit of tilt shifting to kind of straighten up the chair a little because the chair was leaning in the, like, when I looked at it with the 24 millimeter with no tilt shift, things were a little wonky. So this one I tried to like straighten things out and kind of make the legs of the stool a little straighter. I don't know if I totally hit the mark, but yeah. So this one was 1/5 of a second at ISO 100.
Did you have
I made sure
light or a flash or anything behind to light the scene?
Nope. It is all the arcade lighting. So there's a row of lighting up top where it's pointing at like the pinball, and then further back there's a light pointing at the Mortal Kombat as well. Then underneath they have like LED strip lighting.
Sick.
I believe, if I remember right, under the arcade pinballs.
They should pay you for this image.
They don't. Anytime I go to the arcade, they don't charge me.
Oh, nice.
So it's kind of a win-win here.
Next one. Where was this shot at? And I will have to say, when I first saw this, I was like, I don't see the tilt shift. I think with like with these things, I guess I'm always going to be looking for like the effect. But now that you can see it close up, you can kind of subtly see it on the sides here. But still, really cool location. These freaking statues are haunting. And wow.
I can't believe Connolly
this
Photo
one
is here.
This was
Can
the
we
one
be
I
friends?
sucked at this. This one was hard. So in Indy, there's a park called Holiday Park where there's these ruins. And I actually wanted to take a picture of the other side, but there was like yoga going on. And I just looked like a weirdo because I was like, oh, I can still take a picture, but Photoshop everyone out. And then I just looked weird, like standing there taking pictures of people doing yoga on the other side. And I was like, okay. It's probably better if I just take a different picture. So this was one of the sets where I really just wanted to showcase the tilt shift doing what it's designed to do, which is make architecture straight and make things correct. Not necessarily like the fun effect of tilt shift, but like the real like nitty gritty of everything is perfect and straight. And it was just my boyfriend was I think he was so annoyed because I was like taking the same pictures over and over again at like I was like, let's try it at f8, let's try it at f11, let's try 5.6, let's try moving over here and doing a different tilt shift. Like I was taking basically the same thing over and over again. And I think he was like, what are you doing? Why do you need to take so many pictures of the same thing? I really wanted a true photo showing what this lens is made to do. And I don't know. I just am not super in love with this shot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I turned it black and white because the sky is just really gross in the original. It's just blah to me.
I don't mind the black and white. I think it looks great in black and white, especially for this sky. You know, it's very dramatic. Yeah. How do you feel?
Color wasn't doing it any favors at all. I could not get the colors right.
How do you feel about getting it correct, like getting the building correct and stuff like that? Do you feel like you still could adjust some things? I'm sure you were probably in Lightroom. Like, did you touch the crop at all on it, the rotation?
I don't think I did. I might have. Hold on. Let me see. I did crop it a little bit. So this is cropped from the raw.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem is the pillars aren't straight to the fountain in front of it.
Yeah.
So you can see that the fountain is like leaning a little to the left.
Yeah.
But if I take the rulers and the guide, the middle pillar is like center, and it's pretty darn tootin' straight. I'm just like, I can't win here. there is no winning with this, because the top part where it's flat below the statues is also like pretty darn straight left to right. It's not nearly as crooked as like the base is. So I was just like,
yeah. Bruh.
It's like, I don't know. I'll just cut the difference, I guess.
I definitely wasn't expecting you guys to have complete perfect images the whole way through, you know? But you definitely took a swing and went for it. Going on to the next one, Chloe again. What's up, Chloe?
Yeah, this one was a little closer. I just wanted to do a little bit more of the tilt shift effect, especially after we added the hat and the little floral piece on top. Because without it, it just is like the background blurring, but seeing the blur effect on the florals up top, I think just kind of adds a little visual element. But yeah, kind of similar to the other one. I think these were actually all lit. I think these are all real candle
They look
fires.
pretty legit. I think you did a good job with adding that floral piece on the hat. I think it definitely fits. And if it was gone, I'm trying to imagine this image without it, and it wouldn't look as good. Good job. I like it. I really like these portrait ones. And I know when you guys were submitting your images, you're like, man, I can't wait to post these or whatever. So
yeah.
Is this one of those that you're gonna post right away?
Yeah, I'm very excited to share the photos I did of Chloe, because she we had like a moment of because we actually had like a really good moment on set, because she's Italian, and she was talking about how years ago she was kind of like not really forward with kind of that heritage and stuff, and we were listening to an artist that has very it's Spanish music, but it's very like moody and very kind of like it feels very Italian, Spanish kind of vibes. And we were just like really vibing on set, and she was like, I feel so Italian right now, and it's really like, she's like, I love it, like
that's
this is awesome. And so I'm really excited to post these, and for her to post them too.
Do you play music on every set that you do?
When I remember, I don't always remember to play music. Like we were like halfway through shooting, and I was like, oh, I should like play music to like get us into the vibe of the theme of the shoot, because it's based on a music video by that artist kind of. So yeah, I was like, oh, let's play some music and get vibing.
So when you were shooting with Midnight Rush in the trailer park, did you guys have music going during that set?
I think we did. Yeah, I think we had like throwback music going. I think I remember like Britney Spears coming on at one point.
Mikeytendo gifted Regibles a subscription.
Mikey
Mikeytendo gifted a tier 1 sub to Regibles. They have given 32 gift subs in the channel.
Regibles has just become a recipient of the grace of Mikey. Mikey, thank you so much for gifting that tier 1 sub to Regibles. Awesome. Thanks for being here, Reg. All right, on to the last image here. And Alex said a bit earlier that this was his favorite image. This is pretty sweet. I think this image is pretty sweet, very haunting. Could be used for like the Travel Channel's most haunted places in the US kind of thing. It's really cool. Tell us about this image.
So this is actually at the same park that the ruins were at. They just kind of have these statues around. And I originally was going to take a picture of a different one, but the headless one to me is just a little bit, I don't know, like you kind of said, it gives that like eerie kind of mysterious vibes because she doesn't have a head. And I started taking pictures, and I realized that there's kind of there's the two trees in the back that kind of perfectly frame it. So I tried really hard to make this pretty symmetrical and really focus on that center. And I tend to get grilled for this, but I tend to do very center heavy images instead of like following per se the rule of thirds or whatnot. I like to do center compositions, which not everyone likes. But yeah, this was another one where the color just sucked. I could not get this to look good in color. Yeah, because the sky is just bland. The sky was like gray. There was like no color to it. And then there's all the green. Like the grass was green, the trees were green, everything was green. So I really just could not get this to be, I just couldn't get it to be good in color. But yeah, the only thing I did was I cloned out some stuff in the grass. There's like one person doing yoga in the back that I got rid of. And I did a little bit of separation of the statue in the background. So I did 2 adjustment layers where I brightened up the statue a little bit, and then I added contrast to the background just to kind of separate them a little. Cause I think I shot this at I don't think I shot this wide open. Let me see here. I shot this. No, I did shoot this wide open, I guess. I didn't think I had shot this wide open, but yeah, I shot this at 3.5. Nice. So yeah, nice. That was kind of it.
Gee, well, there it is. Chat, all 5 images from the Alamo. I, again, thank you very much for participating and planning and getting out there and just making it happen. I think the major thing about this competition, chat, is I think this is like one of the hardest I feel for photographers, because no one likes to be told like, you know, that you're a loser in a competition, especially when it comes to photography, because like art is so subjective and yada yada. It can easily turn into popularity contests or whatnot. Hopefully our community, you know, we've kind of learned just to, you know, to learn from these experiences and stuff like that. And that's the big thing about this competition is participating in it, using the lens, going through it, and now you have this experience using it. And Alamo, do you think that eventually you will rent this lens again? Do you have any desire to rent this lens again?
I think I would. And I think that was something that I thought about, where like no matter what happens, no matter who wins, no matter whatnot, like I came out of this with a lot. Like even if I don't win, I got so much out of this that like I wouldn't care at all, because it made me go out and it made me shoot. It made me think of ways to use this. It made me get outside of the box and shoot things that I wouldn't normally shoot. Like I wouldn't go out and shoot like the architecture photos or the photos of the statue, because to me that's just like not the kind of content that I typically shoot. But knowing that it's for a different audience, and knowing that these are things that other people are going to be looking at and judging the technical skill, and if I use the lens as I'm supposed to, I definitely went out and I shot a lot of things that I would probably not shoot. And you're not seeing all the stuff that I shot, because there's plenty of stuff that I shot was just bad. Which is okay. I went out and I shot stuff and not all of it was good, and that's okay. I went out and I did it, and I was like, you know what? Not everything that I'm going to do is going to be spot on, and learning to be okay with that, and realizing that, you know, as much as I can want and plan and think that something's going to turn out like how I want it to, even when it doesn't, it's not a waste to me, because I went out and I did it, and I know, and I still have that knowledge for the future, where if I want to shoot something similar, or if I want to go try again, I have the knowledge of what happened and the knowledge of how to do things differently next time. So nice.
We're going to shift gears. Thank you again, Alamo, for sharing all your work and everything like that. We're going to shift over to Mikey. We're going to put the spotlight on this guy. Gee. And Mikey had to come out of retirement for this. Is that correct?
That is correct. I have not shot in a serious manner in a long time. Mostly just puppies the last year. Yeah, I've been kind of staying inside with COVID because Florida people are nuts. So full stop, just stayed inside for a year.
Nice. And so, yeah, I mean, I saw your name in the cup, in the people who had applied, and I was like, sick, dude. It'd be cool to have Mikey join and do this. And I mean, for all the time that I've known you, Mikey, I've seen your work here and there, but to have you like commit to this and to get out there and shoot and stuff, I was really excited to see what you're going to do. And so
yeah, I kind of took this as an opportunity. Like I've been wanting to make a return for a while now, and like I guess I needed the kick in the butt to do it.
yeah.
And this kind of was like a full commitment. So I'm like, all right, well, if I get chosen, I don't have a choice. So let's do this.
Yeah.
And somehow I got chosen, and that put me back in the game.
Nice. Well, chat, as you guys watch again, this is the this way. This is the lens that they rented. I put the link in the chat for lens rental. We are affiliated with them, so if you do click those links, they will take you to an affiliate link, which supports us. Also, you can use our discount code TLDA15 to get 15% off. Basically, it covers your shipping, which is like $20 or whatever. So really appreciate you guys' support with that. All right, let's head over to the Mikeytendo's images. Boom, there they are. So you already told us what vision you had and your plan from the get-go was going to be. So let's go ahead and get started with the first image. And this image, to be honest, has to be my favorite. Because when you first submitted these, Mikey, and I was looking through all the images, I thought like, wow, that's kind of cool. But when I blew this thing up on my big freaking 34-inch wide, ultra wide screen, this image is sweet. It's like, I almost talking about like this lens being made for architecture and buildings and stuff like that. I think this shot just nailed it. Like you just used the lens to like its abilities, and like this is, I can see this like hanging up in the the owner of this stadium's office, hanging up in a frame like, yep, this is my stadium. I don't know. So I'm just going off on it. I loved it. Especially when I blew it up. Tell us about it. How'd you get this shot and all that good stuff?
No, so I think you nailed it, actually. This is one of my more favorite ones, even though it's more simplistic. Basically, with this challenge, I wanted to utilize the lens in every single photo, because I could have just taken some sweet photos and left the lens centered and, on all of its settings and not really utilized it and still taking some good photos. But every photo kind of has its own little theme. And this one, I wanted to use the left to right motion on it to get like a panoramic shot. Because here's the thing, if you've ever been to this arena, there's not a lot of room behind you. There's a parking garage. There's like no room to actually take the photo. So that area right there is a lot smaller than you think. And that link didn't work. But basically,
yeah,
if you go there, there's like no room whatsoever. So you can't take this photo with the 50mm lens. There's just not enough room. So what I did was I just started the photo to the leftmost position on the tilt shift lens and then moved to the right a little more. I think it was either 3 or 5 photos. I can't remember which one this specifically was, but then I just combined them in Lightroom. It was super simple. There was no editing because despite the Furry Fest, there was like nobody here. I guess, sports arena and, know, those things, two things don't mix. But there was nobody there. I had to remove one lady who happened to walk by at the same time. And that was it. That's all I did to this photo. I think I may have just hit the contrast a little bit just to, enhance the arena a little bit. But this is almost straight out of the camera with just some combining.
Sick.
And like I said, I'm proud of this photo because I don't think this is something people can just take on their own. And even if you bring your own, 24mm lens, there's going to be a lot of curvature there, not just on the natural curve, but up top. And you can see that I have none. It's perfectly straight because I use this tilt shift lens. I just panned it left to right and that was it. That was ball game. So I really liked this one.
Real quick, Mikey. I know people are asking in the chat, and I wanted to clarify. So, man, I wish I had like prefaced you guys like, dude, do your best to try and take like behind the scenes like shots of like how you like shifted the lens or whatever. But my understanding is you have it set on a tripod and you can shift the lens, right? You're not shifting the camera.
So about that, made the trek downtown to Tampa, and my wife called me when I was just getting off the ramp to, enter downtown, and she's like, "Hey, did you mean to leave your lens here, or I'm sorry, your tripod?" And I'm like, "No." So I did all that, and I had no tripod whatsoever.
Wait, what? This is handheld?
So this is handheld, and the whole day I tried my best to find things to lean on, just so I could keep the camera, steady. But I did this one by hand. There was nothing there to lean it on, nothing.
Wow.
So I just basically went down to one knee. I think I moved it up because you can move the lens up and down also to pan. So I just moved it up a little bit.
Wow.
To get that perfect shot, and that was it.
Bro, that's pretty sweet, dude. That's so sick. That makes this image even so much better. Any other thoughts? This is dope. All right, awesome. Moving on to the next image. This is a little I wouldn't say misleading. It's a little tricky because the middle of this image is blurred out, but the sides are in focus. Is this another feature of the tilt shift lens that you can do?
So basically what I did on this one, I was just trying to use the blur effect. This is the one where I was like, okay, I'm not too sure about this. I think we both have the pictures we're less confident in.
Yeah.
And I think this was mine. Basically I was just trying to get the blur effect going.
Yeah.
The center was intended to be more crisp, but it looks like that didn't happen as much. This was taken outside my apartment complex.
Mm-hmm.
We have this little bridge that goes over this pond and leads to the pool area.
Yes.
There's a few elements removed for sure, like a few cars, I think, on the left-hand side.
Okay.
But basically, I was just going for the blur effect on this one. Nothing special, but I was trying to utilize the lens.
Yeah, I mean, I like it because when you first look at it and you're just like, oh, it's out of focus. But like Lila May Cutie said, it's cool because it kind of looks like the grass behind the fountain is in focus, but the fountain is blurred. And it's that's cool. You can do something like this with the lens like this,
I remember when I took this photo, the intent was to get only the fountain in focus, and everything else was supposed to be blurred. So I'm actually wondering if I gave you the wrong upload. Because I think this is the complete opposite of what I was what I was going for with this picture.
Those beautiful artistic mistakes. I don't know. I like it.
I still like it, but I don't think it was the picture I intended to give you, and that's okay.
Sweet. Any other thoughts about this? Because I see what you mean though, to make that, because if you made the fountain crisp and in focus, it probably would have given that miniature effect. Because you're kind of getting it here. If maybe the tops of these trees were in focus, then maybe you'd have that kind of miniature effect. Because I'm kind of seeing it back here with these woods and stuff. But Brad, on to the next one.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. Boom! Another panoramic. Is this handheld or tripod?
This was guard held, I guess. I kind of leaned the camera on that guardrail to stabilize it because at that point I remembered I didn't have my tripod. So I just put the lens on there and, tried my best to hold it down. And I remember if I set a timer on it or something. I guess it didn't matter because I was hand holding it either way. But yeah, this was basically the same strategy as the first one. This is definitely not a sky swap because that's how the sky looks.
Those are beautiful clouds.
Yeah, there was no reason to change these. This is the normal Florida clouds. This is kind of what we look at every day. Sometimes, especially during sundown and stuff, we get more color, but this is the day-to-day clouds.
Yeah.
So basically same thing on this one. I just went left to right with the slider, hoping I got something. I actually took a few of just the left side that I really liked, but nothing really showed off that tilt shift effect of it. It's something I would post normally, something I would really enjoy and and maybe print. But for this challenge, it didn't necessarily fit.
So this is right by the stadium as well, yeah, just in the parking lot.
This is by the stadium. I think if you turn maybe 80, 90 degrees, you'll be looking at the stadium.
Okay. Rad.
There's a building in the middle of it, so you'd have to get around that building. But yes, it's real close to the stadium.
Nice. Dude, these are awesome. I love this panoramic. I love the horizontal line, the horizon.
Yep.
Sorry, not horizontal. The horizon just so straight. The clouds don't even look like affected by any type of curve or anything like that. Just look full on straight, and yeah, it looks so good. It looks hot.
So, Mary, I was just about to say that actually. In retrospect, I really wish I took the photo on the quarter of this parking garage and not where I was standing. I think there was a reason I did it at the time, or maybe just the fear of heights or something, but I do wish I took it down there. You know, I may have even done it, but the photo didn't come out as nicely.
That's a good observation and very cool. And you know, to say, you know, both of these guys had just a weekend to get out and shoot, you know, and whatever the weather was, whatever the conditions, furry, you know, convention or not, Mikey was going to get out there and get the images. And, you know, I think this is
I knew where I wanted to shoot, but I had no idea what I was going to be looking at when I actually got up there. So all this was on the fly. Like someone on YouTube mentioned this garage, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go there. And I had no idea what I was going to get out of it. So I don't know why at the time I didn't choose the corner. Yeah. But I have a regret there.
No regrets. Come on. No regrets.
No regrets.
All right, here we go. Next image. Now, this one is very interesting, and tell us the reason why you chose to shoot this. And yeah.
So the point of this was, it's not like my favorite photo and I'll never print it, but the reason I wanted to shoot this specifically is with the tilt shift lens, how, you know, I was able to get everything in focus because those four guys are pretty close together, but Spider-Man is a good foot in front of these guys.
Yeah.
So I had to sit there, you know, tweaking the lens and moving it and, you know, changing settings to get everything to work in one photo. And I thought, you know, even if people don't understand it without me explaining it, it's still a good example of what this lens can do.
Yeah. So
I was able to get everything in focus where I don't think you'd be able to normally do that, especially since they're blacklight figures. There's almost no light there. There just happens to be like a blacklight strip in front of this photo that you can't see because I'm shooting behind it. But I was just basically trying to show off what the lens could do in this case. I think I sat in my office and did this for almost 2 hours trying to get it. I probably took 300 shots of just this, trying to get everything to work.
Moving on to the last image. Shot from the same parking garage. I looked at this and I thought, all right, honestly, out of all the images, like, you would expect to see a lot more like miniature kind of toyish looking scenes. This is like this is the one image I think out of all the submissions that really like shows that miniature toy scene. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I definitely, that's exactly what I was going for this shot. And that's what I envisioned literally the whole time. When I was doing the research, this is the one shot I wanted, like I couldn't not get. And so I sat there for a while trying to get that photo. Once again, I had to lean on the rail to get it to, you know, keep everything non-shaky. If I had my tripod, it would have been a lot easier because I would have been able to go up a little bit higher and center the cars better.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But every time I tried to hand hold it, it just wasn't going. So I did the best I could with I'm not happy with the framing, but the rest of it I'm good with. Most of the toy car effect is natural. I will admit I had to add, like, the line was off a little bit towards the back, so I had to Photoshop a little bit more tilt shift effect in there. but this was like my money shot. This was the one I was really hoping to get, was the toy car effect.
Yeah. So cool. Lila May Cutie says it's the safety cones that sells it for them. For me, it's these trees along the sidewalk. These look like little miniature model trees, you know, that you could like buy from Michael's or whatever. And these little posts right here by the car. Yeah, there's so much to love about it. I mean, straight up, I will say I would love to just take this in Photoshop and just tilt it to the right down a little bit. But other than that, like, I love it. Did you add any of the contrast or any other type of editing, post editing to this?
I don't think I added anything major. I may have tweaked the Lightroom settings a little bit just to make it, more toy effectish. But I didn't do that much to it. Just very minimal editing.
Flat earthers are shaking. The saturation of the cars make it look a little bit more toyish. Good job, Mikey. Let's bring up all the images here. 1, 2, 3, boom. There it is. Mikey played with a lot that the usage for panoramics. So we love it. I love. So this is what I love, because one thing that the Alamo and Mikey we talked about was the genre of type of images. Like, what kind of images was there a theme for? And I just said, just shoot whatever. Just use the lens and shoot whatever. Because I know the Alamo is fantastic with portraiture. Same with Mikey. Yeah. But and Mikey coming out of retirement, I didn't know what he was going to shoot. If he was going to call up his old model buddies and stuff like that.
Mikey came right out of the gate saying that, like, portraits with the tilt shift look awful. It's not good for that. And I immediately was like,
gonna prove him wrong.
I knew if Alamo was going to beat me, it was going to be with portraits. People love portraits and they love voting for them. So, and I knew she was going to go for that, and that's okay, because I knew if anyone was going to prove that statement wrong, it would be her. So after seeing her images, I will concede that you can utilize a tilt shift lens for portraits.
Oof. I will agree with that statement for sure. But I like that he has not conceded the win yet, Alamo. It's not over.
I'm winning, but I'm just saying her portraits are okay.
Listen, if I can turn you around on portraits, I'll take it.
That's a win in her book.
I'll take the concession on the tilt shift lens can be used for portraits.
All right. Here's all the images together. And there's Chloe, Beers for Fears. Welcome in, Chloe. Thanks for being an excellent model, channeling your Spanish Italian vibes on set. Fantastic group of images here. Love it. And these will be up for a bit on our website until we get the new exhibition started, which, by the way, chat, I'm kind of contemplating whether I should open up applications today or if I should wait till Monday, because next Friday we're picking two new people. You guys are going to take these spots where Mikey and the Alamo are, but the whole goal of this is to get two photographers on stream to rent a lens that they don't have or own or have a lot of experience with, and then shoot with it and give their best efforts. And so that's what it was. This is the tilt shift lens that they rented and used. We're gonna reveal the winner currently. You guys want to take a guess at the vote amount, the vote tally? How many votes we got going?
120.
Man, I wish.
No?
Not that high, I will say. Currently, we are at 70 votes.
70.
Alamo, I'm just gonna put it on you. Show your behind the scenes stuff. I need to
sure.
I need to go say goodbye to my wife. She's gonna drop off a friend at the airport, and then I'm gonna use the restroom. I'll be right back.
I think it should. Is it showing? Oh, it is showing. Okay. So I've got this. I got a couple behind the scenes here. Not a whole lot. Can I get this full screen, please? There we go. So this was the studio we were shooting in. And then we have all the set stuff by Sparkling Decor and More, who is the decorator that provided all the stuff. And then that's me setting everything up. And then there's some photos that Chloe took behind the scenes. So here I am shifting it, trying to figure out what's going on, how to shield it. Wow. How to shift it and all that fun stuff, because it's manual focus too. So I think that's like all the behind the scenes I took technically. Or that Chloe took in this case. Chloe took these. So I can show all the stuff that I failed at that looks absolutely garbage. Like this hot pile of poop.
I thought we just looked at your 5 images.
Well, we looked at the 5 good ones. We didn't look at the behind the scenes of the garbage that I took.
Oh, I thought they were garbage. My bad.
So sorry. So sorry. Okay. Are you guys ready to reveal who won?
No.
I know. I kind of want to. I don't want this to end. I want this Can you guys just stay on Zoom forever with me? All right. I'm closing the voting in 3, 2, 1. There you go. Dab it out, Elmo. Dab it out. All right, Mikey, it's time for the freestyle. Let's go. This stone cold.
Mikey just doesn't change. It's like he's not even here. He's mentally somewhere else right now. Physically, I am here, but mentally, I am elsewhere.
Oh, man. So good. All right, guys. Here we go. Let me show you guys. So how do you want this? Alamo, Mikey, do you want me just to straight out tell you? Do you want me to screenshot the pie? The vote? Like pie? Do you see like the differentials on it or what? You guys just want it?
Make it like Game of Thrones where you just execute her just off with the head. Make it easy for her. Just finish it.
You know, honestly.
Just announce me the winner and get it over.
Not opposed to it.
All right, chat.
Not opposed.
Well, here's what I'm going to need you guys to do, chat. I need you guys to make sure you have your claps ready. Your peepo claps.
Peepo claps.
Your regular claps. All of that ready. Your hypes. Your emotes ready. The champ emote. All that stuff ready.
Oh, no.
All right.
My peepo clap.
There you go.
My peepo clap back.
Ladies and gentlemen, announcing for the first time ever, the winner of the very first exhibition is
I'm scared.
Diablo! Let's go! Where did he go? Where did he go? Where did Mikey go,
Talk
chat?
that smack talk for what, Mikey? Mikey needs a drink.
I don't know. I smell a round two. I smell a rematch in the making. I smell a rivalry.
I do a Mikey 2.0 rematch.
What do you say about a rematch in sometime in the future?
Not with a lens so heinous.
I think the community let me down today. And I am done with all of you.
Your guys' contribution to this, if anything, is you guys set the bar.
So I need to retire and teach people how to talk smack. Got it.
Mikey's gonna be the professional teacher. He's the doctor. He is the doctor smack talk disrespect. I was gonna say Dr. Disrespect, but
guys, this is the very first exhibition. There was a lot of stuff that we learned from this, and regardless, you guys agreed to the challenge. You guys rented it. You went out, did your best, and put it out there. And we appreciate and applaud you guys for both of that. So basically, Alamo, what did you win? Well, now you get to brag and remind Mikey who won. No, but you also get a gift card. You also get a gift card to Lens Rental. So I will send that along to you once I get that from them and let them know that you have won. So we will do that.
In all seriousness, I have zero salt. I think we talked about this a few days ago, the night we submitted.
Yeah.
We said, at this point, I don't really care who wins. And I think she said the same thing. Like, we both got out there and we did it, and we used the lens we've never touched before. I'm totally okay with it. I think a lot of it had to do with, people voting visually, because I think my wife did the same thing. I don't even know if she voted for me, just because, people, that's how they vote. They vote with their emotions and their hearts, and portraits always wins in that case.
Yeah.
So that's totally fine. I've secretly said to her from the beginning, like, you're probably going to win this. You're way better as a photographer than me. I've been out of the game for so long. I can play it up for the camera, but I seriously have no salt. And I'm glad if anyone beat me, it was Alamo. She well deserves it. She went out and kicked butt, that weekend just as much as me. Well, obviously more. So we all good. And I can't wait for the next contest to see what you guys do. And we will definitely do a rematch, even if we have to do it on our own terms, with our own lenses.
Street rules.
We'll go at it again. So.
Yeah, and I think part of it is you got to pick how to play it, in the sense that a tilt shift lens, and the competition is designed around who used a lens the best and the way that it's intended. And I think that from there you can play it different ways. And I think in the future contestants, this is something that you need to think about is, do you play it in the way that, like when you Google tilt shift lens, you get creative portraits, you get really out of the box stuff from people, but that's not what a tilt shift lens was made for. Mm-hmm. A tilt shift lens was made for architecture. It was made for correcting parallax errors. And so thinking about, is someone who isn't familiar with photography always going to know that, right? As much as we can say, use a tilt shift the way that it was, who used the lens the best in that way, not everyone knows what a tilt shift was made for. Not everyone knows that that's what this lens is, and that's what this lens does, especially people who aren't photographers. So sometimes it's the difficulty of balancing, showing off what a lens does isn't always the most creative thing. I think some people were saying in chat, Mikey used the lens the way that it was made. That panorama that kind of stuff is what it was made for. And I wish that I had even thought about that. And I think in a way, subjectively, that's a way better use of the lens, because that is what it was made to do. And he used it in the way that it was made to be done. And I had a really hard time with that, but it can be used for creative stuff too. So it's a balance of knowing what it was made for, and then knowing what you can do with it, and kind of deciding in the future, especially like someone mentioned the telescopic lens, or the other word that I don't want to say on stream because it's very uncomfortable. Like what do you do with it? Do you do what it was made for out of the box, or do you do something out of the box, or how do you play it? So I think in that sense, it's a really good exercise of thinking of ways to utilize something as it was intended, and also stepping outside the boundary of what it was made for, and doing something fun with it, and exploring with it, and having a little bit of freedom with it.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good lesson for future competitors of the exhibition, is you're not only utilizing the lens, but you have to, make the people happy. And I think that's what I told my wife when I was going, we were kind of talking the second morning of, what's my strategy for today. And I said, Alamo mentioned she was doing portraits. And I think if I lose, that's going to be the reason I'm not doing any portraits. And I almost, said, I need to switch things up. Let's call Abby, who's a model friend. And I didn't do it. And I don't want to say I regret not doing it, but I think this is a lesson to you guys that, you also not only need to utilize that lens, but also play to your audience. So it depends. Like if you want to just go, straight ahead with the lens, that's cool. But if you really want to win it, you kind of have to put that aspect into it also. And I don't think I did that enough with Alamo. I was so focused on getting that lens going and, providing maximum images. I really didn't consider what she was doing, even though we were both pretty open. Like we didn't say exactly what we were doing or, give away ideas, but I knew she was doing portraits. And I said to myself, and I said to my wife, if I lose, that's going to be the reason. And I mean, I that's not the sole reason. I lost because she produced some phenomenal images. So I don't know. I have no regrets. I'm glad we did this. I've always wanted to shoot with that lens since I first probably saw the first toy car effect. I've always wanted to do it. So
can we be friends?
I'm happy that the Academy, allowed me to do that.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, let's see. Am I missing anything else? I don't think so. Chat, you guys have any questions for Mikey and Alamo about the lens they use, about their experience at all? Mikey, Alamo, you guys got any last comments or anything to say at the end?
No, I've pretty much said it all, but thank you to Lens Rentals for sending it. I'm not paid by them, so my stuff is true, but I had a great experience with them actually. It was scheduled to arrive the day before the actual rental, but it showed up the next day, and I think Alamo got hers a day early. I could be wrong on that.
Shots fired. Nah, just kidding.
No, I didn't mean it that way. I just mean typically you get it a day early, which is really nice.
Yeah.
But my FedEx sucks. Everything comes a day late. So that's not Lens Rental's fault. But I also returned it a day late, and they reached out to me the next morning and said, hey, everything okay? If you get it out today, there's no extra charge. We'll give you a day grace period. And I said, yeah, sorry, I was just late on it. And they waived the fee to return it late, and
no way
they gave me a little coupon for next time too. So
you should have returned my lens late, man.
So I had a super good experience with them. I would suggest them. I've used a few other ones and they were okay experiences, but I would say the best experience was definitely Lens Rentals. So I thank them for providing me the lens. It was a frustrating lens to use, but it was so worth it at the end. So
yeah, I've always had a great experience with Lens Rentals, no matter what I've rented with them. So definitely, especially with the 15% off, check them out. Thank you to Lens Rentals for sponsoring the event. And I think the only thing that I wanted to say was, if you're thinking about entering and you're worried about your skill, you're worried about putting yourself out there, doing something like this, I don't think anyone should be, because it's such a good exercise to force yourself to go out and do something, to like put yourself in a space where you've got to come up with something and you've got to think about it, and give yourself a deadline to get creative. So even if you're worried, you're nervous about doing something like that, you're worried about putting your work out there, you're like, oh, well, there's no way I'm ever going to win. So why would I even enter something like this? It's such a good exercise in getting creative, going outside, even if you don't go outside, even, setting something up in your house, but just kind of stepping outside of your comfort zone and shooting things that you wouldn't normally shoot under regular circumstances. So I think that alone is worth putting your name in the hat and seeing if you come up.
We good.
Alamo, Mikey,
that's about it.
You guys are like
Alamo off stream. She's too busy celebrating her victory.
I'm too busy moderating what's happening in chat with my dad, because my dad's in chat right now.
That's so awesome.
I'm too busy watching to see what's being said.
Mr. Alamo, spill the tea. Tell us all the secrets.
Mr. Alamo.
Ray, I mean, Mr. Mosbeck, I'm honored to have you on. My dad pops into stream every now and then, and it's always so cool. So I'm glad that you're able to pop in and stuff. You must be super proud of your daughter.
Elijah did ask what I'm going to use the gift card to rent, and I don't know. Did you ever say what the prize was?
It was just it's a big gift.
Price?
I don't have a number. I don't have a number to give you. Yeah. I probably could have got that from them, but I'll do that. I'll make sure to do that next time.
But I think I don't know. I kind of want to rent
a probe lens?
No. I don't want to rent a probe lens.
Okay.
I brought this up for a possible lens type. I would like to try an anamorphic lens. I don't know if anyone knows what an anamorphic lens in chat is.
Yes. It changes your subject into an animal, right?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Like Animorphs.
Yes.
That's what I was. It's like the book Animorphs. No.
He's like, what?
No, but an anamorphic is it's like a cinema type lens where it creates a different type of flare and it like stretches the image. I don't know how else to describe it, but anamorphic lenses are super cool. So
Stevie. Yeah, your dad's super proud of her. She did 100% on her own. She's about 12. Wow, that's so cool. Awesome. All right, well, chat, now's the time to show some mad love to your two participants, the Alamo and Mikeytendo. Say goodbye to our participants. We'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me on the call, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Love you guys.
See you guys.